Hi everybody, and welcome to Outdoor Ed with Mary. This week I'm going to be featuring our September species of the month. These are species of plants, insects, animals, anything outside that's common to see in our area in September. The first species we're going to talk about is the sunflower. Now is a great time to see sunflowers blooming and also to start to see sunflower seeds forming and the birds and insects that love to eat sunflower nectar and sunflower seeds. Let's get closer and take a better look at the center of the sunflower. See all of these little dots in the middle? It turns out that each one of those dots is actually its own flower. The reason the sunflower has so many tiny flowers is so that insects can get to them easily. You can even see a little beetle on this sunflower. Each of those tiny florets, or tiny flowers, is going to eventually turn into a sunflower seed. Those seeds will feed the birds, animals, and even people. Have you ever eaten sun butter, sunflower seeds, or cooked with sunflower oil? We grow sunflowers in farms and in our gardens, but sunflowers also grow wild. Look at this beautiful eastern tiger swallowtail sipping on a sunflower. This butterfly is our next species of the month. And if you look at the long tube coming out of its face, you'll see that it uses its proboscis like a big straw to suck up sweet nectar from the flower. Some eastern tiger swallowtails have evolved to have this black color you see on the left. Why would this butterfly want to turn black instead of bright yellow? Can you guess? The reason is it's hoping you will confuse it for its cousin, the pipevine swallowtail. This cousin, which looks very similar, is actually poisonous to birds. So if the swallowtail can trick a bird into thinking it's a pipevine, it can avoid being eaten. Let's talk about another flower. I'm sure that you've seen this flower growing along roadsides, on the edges of woods, maybe even in a parking lot before. Do you know what it's called? Its name is jewelweed. It has small orange or yellow flowers, which have a tube coming out the back. When insects crawl into the tube to get a tasty nectar, their bodies are covered with pollen. When they go to the next jewelweed flower, they take it with them, and so the jewelweed is pollinated. Jewelweed has pretty green leaves with these nice bumpy edges, and it comes in a couple of different colors and sizes. Make sure you're careful when you look up close at jewelweed, because jewelweed usually grows near poison ivy. But don't worry if you end up itchy, because jewelweed also works to help stop the itching that comes with poison ivy. Maybe that's why they always grow together. Let's talk about one more flower. This is Joe Pye weed. It comes on a long, tall, skinny stem with a big puff of pink flowers at the top. You'll notice that this flower seems to always be busy with butterflies and especially bees. Watch these hard workers crawling across the pink flowers to collect nectar for their hive. These are bumblebees, which don't really sting people and are really helpful to lots of plants. So if you see a nice fat bumblebee, don't be afraid. Just say, "Hi, good work, buddy." Finally, I'd like to talk about this snake. This is a copperhead. Many of you are familiar with a copperhead snake. Perhaps you've seen them around your house or heard stories of adults hurting copperheads because of their venom. It's true, copperhead snakes can bite you, and if they do bite you, it is very painful and can cause you to go to the hospital. But don't worry, because copperheads are not aggressive. Most often when people are bitten, it's because they accidentally step on the snake. The pattern on the copperhead is supposed to look like leaves on the ground, and it does a really good job of camouflaging this snake. This painting by an artist named Abbott Henderson Thayer was one of the first times that a human looked at animal camouflage and tried to copy it in order to make camouflage for the military. Copperheads, just like all snakes, are an important part of the ecosystem. They eat pests that would otherwise overtake our yards and woods, so it's best to leave them alone as much as possible. However, they are venomous. So this time of year, the time when copperheads are most active, it's good to keep an eye out to where you're stepping. Make sure that you don't accidentally step on one of these peaceful snakes and cause it to bite you in self-defense. Now it's time for this week's Eco Challenge. And this week, I want to try something a little bit different. I want to hear your questions about the outdoors. They could be about anything: plants, mushrooms, insects, animals, weather, hiking, anything to do with the outside. Next week, I'd like to make a video answering some of these questions. So your Eco Challenge this week is to explore outdoors, find something that makes you curious, and enter your question in the link connected to this video. I can't wait to hear your questions, and I'll see you next week. Bye!